All right, and we are live. Hello, everybody. Cajun Coin Hunter here with you today, aka Boo Bro. How y'all are this evening? And Johnny's not here tonight. He's over at the radio station playing music. They got a couple of big names out there tonight, and they're gonna be playing in the back, playing music in the back, and they're gonna have a good time. I think they got some food in uh, from a few different restaurants, so they're gonna have a big to do. Because they always used to have a big to do when we go there anyway. Missy would be doing the cooking in the back. So let's see, the Moose, how you doing, Mona Me? What's going on? And we got all the links sent out already. And if I seem kind of like, with the the wave motion type thing going on. Brock's boys, what's going on? You better not. That like a lag or something that's happening. I see a little bit on my end. I got another camera plugged in, and that shouldn't affect it, but it does. So, Lucky James, Erla, what's up, morning, big? How you doing? Yeah, man. I seen you made a comment in that last one of the last lives there. But yeah, it's been a little while. Mike Badger, what's up, Mike? Crime Monster, what's going on, Steve? How you doing, man? Let's see. Oh, I forgot to get a few things out of my email and stuff. But anyway, we got Mr. Frosty in the house tonight with us.
How y'all doing tonight?
What's
How
up,
y'all
Mike?
doing? I have
How you
not
doing?
been around for a while, but I'm back. We're going to have some good content coming up on my channel pretty soon, but I'm just happy to be here. Happy to
You
talk to my friends.
you back in the old building, ain't you?
I'll be back in the ice business here, too.
Yeah. And you said you was waiting on the ghost of Howard Hughes pop in anytime?
Oh, man, look at this. Looks like somebody turned Noah's Ark upside down. Look at that ceiling. This is an
Yeah.
old Goodyear Quonset hut where they used to make aircraft parts and stuff.
Oh yeah.
In the back there used to be railroad tracks. That's a post office hub back there now, but all the buildings here used to have railroad tracks going behind them where they just load shit straight onto rail cars and go straight to the airport, get shipped off wherever it was supposed to be going.
We got to do that.
It's kind of an interesting old neighborhood here.
Yeah, Hollywood.
Oh, hell, this is Central and Florence, man. This is South Central LA, so we probably about 20 minutes, 25 minutes from Hollywood. Kind of on the stretch, but there's still some of those bungalows are built out here, so I know they were filming. I think between here and Santa Monica, this is where they were doing all the building. But if you look at all those rafters from the front, it's a trip. I want to put some dummies up there. The architecture in here is really neat, man. In between the units is brick walls, and they have these great big windows in them. I don't know what they use those for. Across the street, whatever was there got replaced with a tilt up, but I think they were making rims or something. And then General Electric owned it for a while. I remember we wanted to do some work in the back, and they had to dig up everything, make sure there wasn't any battery acid in the ground.
What's up, full wave, Ray? What's happening, Mona? Oh man, I had a buddy of mine. He was looking for and it was out in California. He was a mechanic. He moved to Texas, a while back. He was in the coin community big time. Brian Kitchens. Kitchens was his last name. I forget what part of Cali he was in. It was, around LA somewhere out in the country out there. Because he wasn't in the city at all. Because, you can go a couple of blocks and there were just a couple of buildings or houses. And then there was his shop. Well, the owner, he was renting and he got screwed, glued and tattooed. And so he was looking for his own place to buy or rent. But he found a decent place to rent. Oh, yeah. It didn't have a bathroom. All it had was a hand sink, mop sink, like to wash your greasy hands and stuff. And a big plastic sink with a faucet sticking out. No bathroom. They had the place next door. It was empty. It wasn't rented, but that's the part that had the bathroom. And that place stayed locked. The guy wouldn't, if he'd have rented it, he'd have to put a porta potty.
Damn.
Didn't mind that, but that wasn't the big thing about it. He was looking in the back, and man, it looked like the outskirts of Houston, Texas, by Greens Bayou and all that over there to the east side of Texas. The back area, yard, and the side looked just like that area of Houston. And all that's oil field over there. You would swear that they got like 4 foot of oil, this deep, and you'd never sink. Jump in there, you wouldn't sink. That's how thick of oil it is. That back area, that gravel area, in the dirt gravel area in the back, was soaked with oil and no telling what else. So he had somebody go.
Yeah, go ahead.
He had somebody go look at it. They said, man, this is years and years of accumulation. He said, Superfund would love this. Remember the old Superfund? For the hazardous digs and all that?
Ooh.
You don't remember that? Superfund? But landfills, trash piles and stuff, they had I don't know how many billions of dollars allotted to them to clean up areas like that. Okay, all spill areas, buried batteries, stuff like that in them old landfills. And I'm talking about like DCAT batteries, them big D8, D10 batteries, stuff like that. I ain't talking about AA, AAA, 9-volt batteries. I'm talking about car batteries, and all that's not supposed to go in the landfill, but they allowed it in there. But they had the Superfund to clean all that up. But when they would find the site, they would fine the owners hundreds of thousands of dollars, which they didn't have, And the government told them to do what they were doing. The government told them to do that, to take them batteries. But yeah, go ahead and bury them, Back in the 60s and 70s. Yeah, buddy. Oh, Brian, Stephen, I'm crippling along, but I'm there. I got to get my crap. I got to get my chat popped up. Frosty, man, you look real swollen in the face. Told me your leg was swollen, but man, you're swollen in the face. Looks like you gained 30 pounds or something.
I have gained a little bit of weight, but the hat's not helping. The hat's not helping much.
What's that? Oh, I can't. I'm popping out my chat. I can't see nothing on cameras.
Let's see. Well, I did get a hell of a haircut.
That's not it. I got something running in the back. That's why. I'm glad I did that. I had my camera software running in the back. I'm not even using that camera. Okay, chat's popped out. That's it. Oh, look at here. Look at here. We got Mr. Southern Coin Runner in the house tonight. What's that?
Hello, hello, hello. I'm actually heading to go get my car washed. I'm going to go back to my mom and dad's. I got power back on my house. So Saturday night, I should be staying at my house from here on out. So, and I just sent 2 photos of a nickel that I got a roll of customer wrapped. I hope you can show that on your StreamYard or not. Or a nickel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I sent it to you in email. I replied back.
Oh, you did?
But I gotta get my car washed. Yep.
I don't see anything in the email.
It may take a few minutes.
Wait, let me reload it.
I take almost, cause yeah, I do high-res photos of coins.
Nope, I didn't know. Oh,
it may take a few minutes to upload.
Yeah, well, I'll reload.
Yeah, it's gonna take a few minutes to upload. No, we got a big weekend deal from Domino's. I gotta get my car cleaned up, so going to a car wash to get to wash the car. And tomorrow I gotta vacuum it all out. So
gotcha. Oh, Mike Badger, check the email.
once I get to the car wash, I want to get off, eat supper. Once I get some things done at my mom and dad's, I'll jump back on.
Okay.
You have any help with my mom or my dad? They finally got diagnosed with both. They think it's pneumonia and bronchitis.
Bronchitis?
And pneumonia. He got both.
Damn.
That ain't cool.
That's not fair.
On top of that, on top of that, the AC unit went out. They need a new unit, but they can't qualify for a loan. I hate to tell them, because they're in the 80s, they're probably they'll have a hard time getting a loan for a new unit.
Needs a loan, you saying?
They need a loan to get a new AC unit for their house.
Oh.
And they got denied because she's 81 and he's 80.
Well, they're going to have to go with a mini split or something.
Yeah.
Well, their HOA...
mini split and use it in like 3 of the most used rooms. You know, the kitchen, living room, bedroom.
Well...
Or get some window units. You know, some big window units, 24,000 BTU. Man, that'll cool off a living room and a kitchen.
Yeah.
The HOA will not allow it.
Oh, hell.
What? They in a HOA?
Yep.
No wonder they can't afford an air conditioning unit. HOA taking all that damn money.
They can't make an exception for a couple of elderly folks.
Man, no doubt. Have the AC, the window unit on the back of the house where people from the street can't see it. That don't matter. They walk around. They can walk around, go in your backyard without them telling you, hey, I'm home, or I'm over here doing an inspection. No, man, these people think they can walk in your house and do what they want. I had a 14, I think it was 70-foot long.
There we go. I connect to my internet.
I didn't know we lost it.
Yeah, it was circling, so I dropped and got back in.
I was saying about that if they in a homeowners association, yeah, they that's where all their money is going to every year. And then just get some air conditioning, like put one in the back, a big unit in the back of the house. That way they can't see it from the street. But hell, the HOA, they'll go in your driveway and go in your backyard and be looking around for stuff.
Shoot them bastards.
Hold on, Mike, let me check. Or let me just resend it.
Well, here's the thing. My sister who passed away a couple years ago from cancer, they got one of those portable indoor units. So I've been trying to get in touch with her husband, see if he could bring it up there to my mom and dad, and that way they could at least keep the living room and the kitchen cold off.
Okay, repeat that. I was doing something. I wasn't paying attention.
I said, my volume's real low in here. What I said was my sister who passed away from cancer, they got one of those portable units, and I'm trying to get in touch with her husband to see if they could use that thing in their house, at least keep the living room and the kitchen cold off. Because they'll cool off that area in no time.
Right.
And just put a couple of fans out and circulate the air around the house.
Right. That's what I do. I got that bedroom unit. It's a 12,000, I think, or 10,000. Might be a 10, but hell, I put a fan in the bedroom, blowing in the kitchen. Shit, man, the oven's on, burners on, cooking a big meal, and it'd be nice and cool in here.
Okay.
Jimmy Jones, how you doing, Sean? I got it to the right one this time, Mike, man. I don't know why my email, when it's sent to, some of my emails, they automatically go to the top one, but your old one was up there, and that's your new one. How you been, Tammy? You want to come up here? I hadn't seen you in a month of Sundays.
You jump down and get a damn quarter-inch now.
That's what that noise was?
Clanking and a banging. Got the old fan out.
Oh, that was your shirt caught on the corner of that refrigeration unit, and it tore on the way down.
Yeah. Be right back.
Yeah, man, air conditions, especially a package unit used to be cheap. What I call it down here, what we call a package unit, is like for a mobile home. It's just one unit that's outside that sits on a concrete slab, and it's got a return air that's going to it, and it's got the business end coming out on the, next to it, and you just put your ductwork to your mobile home. From your return air, it's a big old round duct. Or you can make ductwork for it. That way you ain't got to change it every 4 or 5 years. Just hook up 2 big old ducts, collapsible ducts, flexible ducts, and you're in good shape. The A-frame coils inside the unit, and the heater strips are inside the unit. Everything's there. And I paid $900 for the last one I bought for my mobile home. What's that, Family Show? Take your ID.
Did that email finally upload to you?
Oh, yeah, I got those emails.
Yeah, take a look at it. At that nickel, it's a 59 Denver.
Hold on. Oh, that's his old, I think 714. Let me see. Hold on a minute. Yeah. Hold on. That. No one wants a stinking badger. What's up, Mike Badger? Yeah, I wanted to make sure I did send it to the right one. The old one, it threw it back. So yeah, I know that's not a good one. Let me see if I can erase, delete that one. Let me get them. 1959 Denver. Oh wow.
Pretty nice, huh?
Yeah, what's NEKID, Pam? Yeah,
What's that?
is nice. Pulling out a roll. I was asking Miss Pammy what NEKID stood for. What's that in front of his nose? Oh, a stain. Okay. Looked like two stars. Like between the date and Liberty, that's what it looked like in front of his nose. It looked like two miniature ones. Yeah, man, that thing's nice. It looks like it's frosted.
It always looks like a brand new nickel.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
If I was to send it to get graded, it'd come back and probably an AU-55. It's got a couple of dings on the rim.
Oh yeah, that's not grading quality, no. But the just for pulling it out of a roll after 70 years, or let's see, 1960, that'd be a 40, 60, 65 years. Yeah, that's nice. All right, there we go. Let's see if I can, whoops, that's way too big. Yeah.
Should be able to zoom in and out on it.
All right. Yeah, I'm doing that in my this part. I have to get back in StreamYard part and make it enlarge it, then get back in the email part where the pictures are at. Now I can move it up and down and do what I want with it. That is a nice nipple.
Even the reverse is very nice. Usually it's got some steps, but it's not full steps.
Oh no, man, that's a miracle to find full steps in the 50s and 60s. That's a miracle.
Yeah.
Bro, the mid to from 55 to 66, 67, man, you're looking at a gold mine. That's a Denver too. Damn it!
Like I said, it'll be an AU-55 coin.
I should have kept that nickel that Johnny brought here last night or night before last. Last night, I should have kept it over here and flipped it instead of him bringing it back home so soon. Because I could have showed it tonight. He found in change a 39. Okay, it's a Jefferson nickel. A 39S, San Francisco. Almost in as good a shape as this nickel. I'm talking about if it's not VF, if it's not VF, I give it up. That was a nice nickel for change fine, pocket change fine from Walmart, 1939, San Francisco.
Here's something about this coin. I showed my dad to it the other night, and then I was going back through checking the rest of the nickels. I actually put that in my dump bucket to be returned. I had to go dig it back out last night. It took 3 handfuls before I found it again.
Damn. I accidentally threw it in the bucket, huh?
Now, I did find a 49, but I put both of them in, but I'm not going to look for the 49. It was beat up pretty bad, so I'm going to leave it, let somebody else find it.
There you go. That's what I do, man. When I see something that's all beat up or something or whatever, if I don't want it, I just put it back in circulation. Let a kid, hopefully a kid finds it.
See,
That
no, I do that with wheat pennies too. If the wheat pennies are
Oh
no,
yeah.
it's already they're banged up, whatever. I'll put it back in. Maybe a kid will find it and keep it.
I throw back more good stuff. I ought to be saving all that. But man, I got so much of it. It's when you got like say Frosty right there on top of it. He's in the air conditioning business, okay? If like somebody just starting out, if like he does a job and they give him the old air condition, okay, and he puts in a new unit, they give him the old one, but it's still working, okay? And Frosty will give that to somebody to use, or maybe a scrapper or something, or get the compressor, parts, something like that. It's still got a couple of years left in it, but it's good for parts. Well, Frosty, we lost him. He
Nope.
might not.
Frosty's still here.
I mean, Van.
Frosty's,
I'll continue that when Van comes back.
Frosty's still here.
Yeah.
What's
I
happening?
remember them old buildings like that. They got a few of them down here. They do have the true that what you in is a quantity hut because it's got walls that come up straight on the side, 8 foot, 10 foot high. The
Yeah.
wall, the walls are not angled; they actually straight up, and then all of that's on top of the wall. Which that's amazing engineering like that.
Yeah, across the street is Tilt-Ups.
I'm sorry about that. I had an issue with my cell phone, had a drop. It wouldn't do anything. But I had no volume, no nothing. So I had to get out the studio and come back and reestablish the link.
All right. Where did uh-oh. I did that. I clicked the wrong button. There it is again. Okay, now. Where did we leave off at when I was telling you about Frosty? Where did we leave off at? When you
Something about him being in air conditioning. It's the only thing I remember.
Okay.
My volume was out.
Yeah, like me and you, we throw stuff back, because we got so much of it. Like Frosty's in air conditioning. If he changes out air conditioning unit, the homeowners giving the old one, it's still working, but they wanted a new one. And so Frosty, he's got a air conditioning unit. Well, he's got so much of that stuff because he did refrigeration and air conditioning all his life. And most of the months out of the year, because where he's at, it's summer's all year round. Like down here, summer's almost all year round down here. Like right now, I got my air conditioning on, man. It's just the 1st of April. It's that window unit, It's cooking earlier. Cajun won't let me stay connected. Oh, buddy. Oh, Cajun, it won't let me stay connected. Okay. Try again, Mike.
You never know when you're going to get a heat wave roll through here.
Yeah. So anyway, maybe Frosty will save that old air conditioner, put it in somebody else's house, make a few dollars, or he'll give it to a new and upcoming air conditioning guy that would be glad to have it. But Frosty don't care either way because he got so many of them and seen so many of them. He might call somebody and say, "Hey, come pick this up. I don't feel like messing with it." Just like us with coins. We got so many 1955 wheat pennies. We see one, we throw it back in circulation. We don't want that unless it's in real good shape.
Now, there's a company called Coins TV, and they had to sell on BU rolls of wheat cents for mixed dates. It took 2 weeks for me to get that roll, so once you go back in the house, go ahead and set up. I'll be hunting that roll live, probably on YouTube. and see what dates I get.
Okay.
Now it's supposed to be from the 40s to the 50s. They say there may be some late 30s in there also. They can't guarantee that, but you can guarantee the 40s to the 50s.
And what is
Which
it?
was
Nickel?
no, these are wheat cents.
Oh man, and who that's from?
Coins TV. So it's a mixed lot of BU wheat cents for $44 plus shipping.
I
Now
want you to send me a link to that site.
I'll do it later. Yeah, I can do that to you.
Are these coins already out of circulation, or are they still good?
No,
These are
you can still find them in circulation every now and then. You know, when you buy a box of tennis, you might find 5, you might find 100.
There's some companies that will go out and they'll buy sets of wheat cents, put all the nice ones, and sometimes people have BU rolls. And I've actually got BU roll of 57 sitting on my desk with the Phillies. I haven't checked them yet because they're still.
Yeah.
I want to affect that still.
You can send me a link to that wheat tent rolls or whatever it is or what have you. Man,
Yeah,
man, eBay is so full of stuff. You got, oh man, an Indian head on one end and a mercury diamond on the other end. Unsearched rolls, but every one, there's 100 rolls with an Indian head penny on one end and a mercury diamond on the other end.
All right.
What's the chances of that? What's the chances of that happening in real life? You know, none. That's bull butter. It's bullshit. You know, that's bait to get you in there, and they got wheat pennies in there, and the elephant. You might have a couple from the 30s, but all the rest are 40s and 50s. And the 40s, some of them gonna be about 4 of them gonna be steel pennies. Oh man, everybody like, oh look what I got. Oh yeah, you paid $40 for nothing.
That's why I'm doing this video to see if it's. That's why I want to do a video on this, see if it's worth the $44.
No, it's not. The only one that's worth it is if you check out lately here, Rob Fun's Treasure. There was this guy that's got some from the 50s, 40s and 50s of an arcade in an old fairgrounds area. And these rolls are legit. They are legit. Now that's some good rolls right there. That's worth $40. Oh yeah. Tommy Hanlon, hello. How's the weather in Dublin, Ireland? Rail 92. How you doing, morning, me? I hope everything's fine up there in Montana. You know what? My damn microphone's been way the hell over there that whole time. Yeah, I just put it. Look right here.
I thought it was the generator over here muffling your voice.
No, that's a fan. Oh man, sorry about that. But I had it turned. I had the gain turned way up because when I go live with Wayne Custom Screen Printing, he's on Restream. He uses Restream. He don't use StreamYard anymore. And my audio is always way lower than everybody else in the panel. So I got to turn my mic gain all the way up in order for the audience to hear me.
I don't know if you remember from the live coin Q&A, one of the other guys that submits coins and photos is Dirty Waters, Coins and Collectibles. He just put a video out yesterday. He went to the bank, he picked up, I forgot how many rolls of customer wrapped. The first roll he opened up was 20 war nickels. 43s, mostly 43s, Philly and San Francisco. I think a couple of Denvers. Then a couple of 42s and a couple of 44s. First 20 nickels were all silver.
Damn.
So, yeah, so look him up on YouTube. and look for the video. He just put it out, I think, yesterday.
What's his name?
Dirty Waters. He submitted photos before to Lifeline
Oh,
Q&A.
I know who you're talking about. Dirty Water. Yeah, Coin Hunter.
Yeah,
Okay.
Vinny. Yeah, he's the one that got credited with his 2 double dives on either the Kanaka Ole on Variety Vista.
Yeah. Okay. Let me see. What was I doing? I got my microphone. Oh yeah, I think Pammy Jones. Pammy, you still in here? Pammy Jones, paging Pammy Jones. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to get real close to the microphone, and when I was getting real close to it, I noticed it wasn't there.
Oh, hell.
Okay. Oh yeah. Anyway, the price of air conditioners and all that nowadays, it's ridiculous. And then Frosty was talking about refrigerators, compressors, and I was talking about the new compressors that the Samsung and the new refrigerators, they use what they call, I think it's a linear, Linear, linear.
Yeah, why don't I jump? I'm gonna run and look that up real quick, find out what the hell that is.
I think it's a linear, or the old ones are linear, and then the new ones are something. But I think it's the new ones that are linear compressors for the new refrigerators. You know, in the last, like, say, I don't know, 8 years or so, maybe. I was gonna look it up early, but I've been kind of busy. So let's see. Yeah, Rob Finds Treasures, man. That's some awesome rolls. A friend of his had sent him them 2 rolls, and then he got with the guy, got another 4 rolls, and I seen there was a roll that was it was on auction, just 1 roll. That was it, 1. That was a test to see, the market. That roll was almost $100, but people saw Rob Finds Treasure. They saw his video. That's why they bidding so much on that roll, because he found 1909s, 1910s, 18s, 1920s. He was finding some good coins, some good pennies. They're not worth $100 a roll, but somebody wants it just to have it, because they saw it on Rob Finds Treasure. They have the extra money to spend on a roll of old Wheaties like that. They could hit a golden goose egg, or they could just hit a goose egg, a rotten goose egg. But still, in all, that's a $40 roll. Yeah. And Rob Finds Treasure said that's $35 to $40, and I was thinking the same thing. Quick Wrench, where you at? Why are you not up here?
Come on, Brother Dave, I miss you.
Yeah. Frosty was asking about you earlier. He was like, man, I ain't seen him in so long. Said I was worried about it.
Well, he was checking in on me when I was gone.
I was wondering where you was. I sent you a couple links and nobody showed up. I just tossed it off as he's busy or
Frosty is out to lunch,
working or whatever. So
working.
Okay, I'm gonna send you a link, Miss Pam. I hope you still got the same email. Pammy J. The Belle of the Bayou, Pammy J. There we go.
Okay, let's see. What is a linear supposed to do?
Linear compressor, linear refrigerator compressor. A linear, like I said down here, that's an amplifier for a ham radio, or CB.
Or core audio. I've seen linear
Usually,
amps.
usually for car stereos, they just call those amplifiers, car amps.
Yeah, but that linear makes a car amplifier.
Chris Miller, how
I,
you doing? How you doing, Chris Miller? I mean, they make a linear CB amp for cars. You know, they do. They the old ones, the tubes. You going to bed, Missy? Okay. She's gonna rest her back. Her back's been killing her. Well, her muscles on her right side, they knotted up, spasming. She went to the doctor and she went to emergency room for that. Yeah, and then not long, about a week later, they said follow up in a couple of days with your doctor. When you try to make an appointment with a doctor, unless you say follow up from the emergency, you got discharge orders to follow up. Yeah, they'll take you. They'll fit you in somewhere. But if you just say I need an appointment, to go in, my back's hurting and all that, man, they're gonna make you an appointment. But by the time they make that one, your regularly scheduled appointment is already there. So anyway, they told her to follow up, and she had an appointment anyway in the next 5 days, so she didn't go in 2 days. So I went to the doctor today. I had some kidney stones. Oh joy, oh boy,
oh boy.
joy in my future, man. I think I had one time, man. Something hurt real bad. Felt like I was getting stabbed, in the side and all that, and then it would get lower and lower. And then one time I feel like somebody had an ice pick in my rooster.
Okay,
And
I got it,
I
boo.
didn't have no chickens in the yard neither.
I got it, boo. So the linear compressor doesn't have a rod and piston in it and a crank like a regular
Right,
compressor.
right.
It's got a cam shaped deal that moves the piston back and forth.
Like a Wankel engine.
Kinda. It's like a cam
Like
shaped
like
deal.
a rotary engine. Yeah, it's one big camshaft.
Yeah, it's not a rotary though. It's not a rotary compressor. It's got figure if the end of the motor had a big cam on it that the piston slid back and forth in. That's what it is, and it's probably real hard to keep those sealed up. That's why the linear compressor is goddamn trash, and it should be avoided.
Yeah, but that's
Okay.
when you buy a new refrigerator, that's what you get.
I'm muting my mic while I'm at the car wash, so y'all hear the water hit the car.
Okay. Yeah, not a problem. You okay? You guess? Well, I'm
Getting ready
okay
to lock
too.
up over here. Or
No. I don't know what time you leave. What time you leave?
what time is it?
5:30.
No, probably 7.
Thank good.
Stay here till 7:30 anyway.
Okay, I'll leave about 7, and then we do the time sheet. You can pay me out.
Huh?
We'll probably do the time sheet. You can pay me out.
Ooh, I just paid Fernando.
What do we got?
I don't know how much you want or what.
I'm not taking all of it. I'm only taking.
A draw.
I mean, it won't even be $200, maybe. Yeah, we'll be fine.
Just a little pinch off.
Mm-hmm.
All them guys on the fishing boats, they always go to the captain of the boat, and a week after they get paid, and they say, "Man, can you go to the office and get me a little pinch off of my next check?" That means that means a little advance, And so the captain will say, "Here, yeah, I'll give you $20." Well, 15 minutes later, he's back for another 20. He's like, "Man, you didn't drink that 20 up already?" "No, man, I lost it. I was walking to the store and I don't know what happened to it." Yeah, well, I know what happened to it.
Bandits.
Yeah, he cracked that thing out big time. It's easy to crack a $20 bill in half all the way where you won't see it no more.
It was an earthquake, a terrible flood.
Yeah. You had several over the last 30 years. Yeah, they not fun. If that's what I had, yeah, they not fun. But I never had no problem after that. But that's what happened to my gallbladder. I had some grit in there.
Ooh.
That's one reason it shut down. That's probably why I was hurting for a bunch of times, and I couldn't explain it. And I went to I couldn't move one time. Couldn't get out of bed. And I told him this. I said, "You gotta bring me to the emergency room." This was before we got married. So this was 15 years ago. And they said you tore a muscle, one of your six-pack muscles. You tore it. And they said, that's why you hurt. And I'm like,
How'd I
okay.
tear it? I ain't never even seen it.
And I said, well, it feels like I tore my gallbladder off. You know, it feels like I separated my gallbladder because I was straining on, some stuff. I'm a carpenter. And so I guess he took blood and urine, and he said all my enzymes were, right. My gallbladder wasn't leaking. I think they x-rayed me. But I don't know if, gallstones should show up on an x-ray. I'm pretty sure I got an x-ray. Maybe not. Anyway, he didn't say anything about gallstones, but that would have been appropriate from where that pain was at, because that's where your gallbladder is at. It's right there by that six-pack muscle, too. That top six-pack muscle on the right, on my right. Y'all left while you're looking at me, face on. So, anyhow. Yeah, that's what it is. I remember looking up that linear one time, compressor, and it's not a standard rod and piston engine compressor.
No, it's one of them things they pushed into service too fast just to be different. It's probably easy to manufacture, so they started making them, but
Easier and cheaper?
yeah, easier and cheaper. That doesn't necessarily mean it's dialed in and it's better.
Right. Well, mine's 3 years old, over 3 years old, so that was probably going on 4, maybe. I don't know. I know it's at least 3, and it's going good.
All these hermetic compressors now are coming, most of them are coming from either Brazil or Slovakia. And
Okay.
there's a couple of companies making them. CCOP is making them, Embraco is making them. Everybody else is putting their name on them. And quality can be hit and miss depending on what label you order it under. Because I think, just like tools, they build them to different specifications for different people.
Right. I've seen some videos on how they refurbish, the regular style compressors in India.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Man, they tear them things apart. Man, do this, do that, put this, and they spray paint that sucker, put that stick on there. It looks brand freaking new.
Yeah, and then they weld it up and they don't leak.
Right? Yeah. They weld that thing up man. They slap that stick on there, and they're good to go.
Yeah, all in slippers.
And have 2 6mm stones in the right ANS. Oh no, in the right, and a 10mm in the left. Oh man, that's double trouble there. One in each one.
Yikes.
6 man, a 10mm. Damn. Imagine the size of a 10mm head bolt. Try to put that in the mail. It'll get lost. You won't feel it. Like a 10mm socket, they get lost all the time.
Yes.
All 10mm wrenches. I don't care if it's a combination wrench, open end, a ratchet wrench, a socket. I don't care what, a 10mm nut driver. It's gonna get lost.
Oh.
Please don't send that in the mail with a set of tools. If you send somebody tools, take the 10mm out, because everything will get lost. Because that 10mm socket is in there.
Yeah.
Now I got a train coming. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not.
this damn 3-wire fan? Which
I'm
wire?
not looking forward to it, man. I'm surprised they don't blast them suckers way to get a little smaller so you can pass them safely. Man, them things stones, and they not smooth like a river gravel stone. Man, them things that tear you up on the way out.
Oh.
I could not imagine anything coming out of the head of my rooster that's 10 millimeter around.
Yikes.
I could not imagine anything. There's a man with the plan Smoky Ribs barbecue in the house.
What's up?
What's up, mon ami?
Oh, not much, man. Sitting there watching a movie. I looked at my email and I seen where you sent a invite, so I thought I'd get on here for a little bit.
Yeah, so AR Patriot 1776. What's happening, mon ami? Hadn't seen you in a little while. Oh, AR, I got with my buddy from Arizona that moved down here. In fact, I think since last I talked to you, he bought a house down here. He got a sweet deal on a house, 4-bedroom brick home in Mamou, next to the hospital. 100,000. Nice land, piece of land. Got oak trees, pecan trees, got lemon, orange, and kumquat trees on it. Everything brand new in the house. Gas, stove, big 5-burner like mine, if not a little bigger. Big 5-burner, commercial. He said it looked commercial. He said it looks like yours. I said, well, that's not commercial, but it's the next thing, next thing down from commercial. Got brand new washer, dryer, all gas. And then brand new refrigerator, all that stainless steel like mine. Let me see if I can do this. What are my settings? There you are. They move stuff around down here.
Did he kick himself out? Uh-oh.
I don't hear him.
I don't either. There he is.
When I go to present myself, and I was watching myself, okay, because it happened my last 3 or 4 live streams. I went to hit either the settings, the swap camera or whatever, or present myself solo layout, and it knocked me out. And I was watching it, and I was hitting down here settings. Once I clicked on it, it knocked me out.
I'll be darned.
I don't know. It's just a little glitch. Okay, right here. All right. See how the refrigerator, stainless steel, freezer over there, stainless steel, upright freezer, stove, stainless steel, 5-burner. I can't zoom into it. Let me see if the software is going to get me up. Anyway, yeah, StreamYard AR. See, my visualizer software is opening. Let's see if I can do everything with this camera, but not on a live stream. It doesn't, I can't zoom in and out. It's a document scanner camera. But I tell you what, it works good. It's automatic. I get close to a lot of stuff with it.
It's like the one in my laptop at home. I usually use the phone for everything if I can.
Okay, it didn't get big. Okay, yeah. All right, let me make this thing go away. Okay, minimize it. Okay, yeah, that. And then we got the new faucet for the sink. That's black. So the motif is stainless and black and stainless. Anyhow, oh, gas. Oh yeah, AR. What's the first two characters of your email? I want to get back on my other camera. Anyway, AR, I talked to my buddy, and he already got rid of all his stuff. His molds for his bullets. He got rid of all that. All he has left is some loaders, and he's got a when he finishes loading all the lead he already has and the brass, he's already got a buyer for all the reloading stuff. He's got like almost $5,000 into it. I mean that the price tag is on. It's worth more than that.
That's easy to do.
What's that?
Yeah, $5,000 is an easy number to hit. That's a rabbit hole. On reloading stuff, well, you jump down that rabbit hole, it gets deep.
Oh yeah, and then, well, you see, he makes ARs and all that. ARs, he makes that different calibers and stuff. He's got a little machine shop at his house, and a woodworking shop.
Right.
He's 80 years old, and he's big and strong. I mean, you anybody looked at him, you'd swear he wasn't but about 67, 68.
Nice.
But he's 80, and he's did a lot of stuff. He's retired Navy too. So, David Carlisle, what's up, mon ami?
Hello, David.
What's up, David? Did you add that Smoky Ribs barbecue beside my name, Boo?
What?
I noticed my name. It says Russ Smoky Ribs Barbecue. Did you add that to it, or did I do that? I know there was a way to change it because I've had it as Russ forever.
Yeah, no, I didn't do that. Go look, and you see yourself down at the bottom.
I got it.
Them $3. Okay.
Yeah.
I could do it if I wanted to, but I don't know.
Yeah, I was wondering because I've had it just as Russ for a long time. I don't know how that popped back. Smoker is a barbecue.
How long has it been like that?
I just noticed it. I get on Lance's every week, and it just says Russ normally.
Yeah, no, I've been too busy to mess with it. Okay. What's up, Scott Keller? Mr. Briggs? I seen a movie or show. It was a short video, I want to say. It's some popular show, and there's a Mr. Briggs in it. I don't know if it was Blacklist or The Blacklist, because I see a bunch of shorts every now and then on Raymond Reddington. That guy's James Spader. He's a good actor.
I've been binge watching a Netflix series. Tarina, my wife, told me yesterday she found a good series that she thought I'd like. It's called Warrior, and it's placed back in the 1800s in San Francisco. Yeah, San Francisco, when they had all the Chinese that came to this country, for like the railroads and everything. And it's pretty good. I watched the whole first season between last night and today. Then I'm on the second season now. I'll get to watching something. I'll sit there and just binge watch until I'm done, over a couple of days.
I'll do that. I'll find something I like that I hadn't seen in a long time or something. And by the time I know it, I done watched 2 or 3 seasons of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way. I just haven't found a good series in a while. She told me about that, and glad she did. It's pretty good.
I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say something. Oh yeah, I was going to ask you a question. I saw when you was doing the double boil with Keith Jenkins.
Steamed crawfish.
Yeah, that was the 2-pot system.
Yeah, steamed. That's why we
Okay.
do it. You can boil them and then soak them, or you can steam them and soak them. We normally steam them just because it don't take as long to get that water up to a good steam. You know, you're dealing with
Okay.
3 inches of water compared to 7 or 8 inches boiling them. You know.
Okay. Well, I was more or less looking for that pot. The pot and the burner. The pot, does it has those square tubing, aluminum square
Yeah.
tubing
Those
welded on it?
pots- Those pots come with the legs and the burners already attached. When you buy a
That's what
pot,
I thought. The burner comes attached to the pot.
Yeah.
All right. I was
it's
talking
actually
about
bolted,
that.
it's actually bolted to it, and you can buy those pots where you can get the jet burners, and they'll also send you a banjo burner, like if you just want to do something that don't require as many BTUs, like boiling peanuts, for an example. You know, but
Okay.
they're expensive pots. That pot I got a new one last year from High Performance Cookers. And the matter of fact, the crawfish boil I did last year, not the one you're talking about, but the one about this time last year, they sent me that pot. That pot sells for over $600, closer to $700.
Okay.
It's expensive, but there's no other pots that can perform like these. You can get that's a 120 quart pot. If you fill it halfway full for like a boil, you're talking about 15 gallons roughly of water that you're trying to get to a boil. It takes a little over 7 minutes to take cold water and have it at a hard boil. 7 minutes, 15 gallons. That's fast.
Yeah.
You'll never.
I was live with somebody, or it was my live stream, and Missy saw something in a book, an online catalog. I mean, a catalog that you can order from, like Finger Hut, you know, but
Yeah.
it's a real catalog that you hold in your hand.
Right.
And you can order stuff from them and stuff. So that's where we got our air conditioning from. And it, you know, making a payment of $40 a month, you know, instead of but we had something else that was already making payments on something else anyway, comforter or something. Anyway, she was showing me a boiling rig. You know, it was more or less a turkey fryer that had a basket in it, a ball basket anyway.
Yeah.
And it was like $299 something. I said, "What? Ain't no way." I said, I can get a huge big setup for that price, you know."
Yeah.
And I said, "It ain't got but a 29 quart pot." I said, "I can get a 129 quart pot." I mean, that's what I used to boil in, was 120 quart pots. And I said, "Hell, I can do a sack and a half of crawfish in one of them."
Yeah. Yep. I had a 160 quart pot, and I ended up giving that to a foreman that I used to have at the shipyard. He was from New Orleans, and we talked crawfish and all that stuff all the time. And I didn't hardly ever use it. And he come by here one day and I gave it to him. That was one of the rocket pots. That was one of the last rocket pots I ever got, which worked just like these high performance cookers.
Right.
You know, same principle.
I've got burners and I've got pots already, so I don't need to spend any money. I don't know why she's looking at that, you know, to get, because we ain't done crawfish. Last year we didn't do none.
Yeah, I told my youngest
This year we might.
He come and got my big pot, the one I got last year, because every time we do crawfish nowadays, we normally do it at his house, and they do it a lot this time of the year. And I'm just getting nowhere. I don't want to fool with it. I just soon go buy some already boiled, that, or let it boil it and just show up. You know, that's just where I'm at now. I've done
Right.
plenty of videos with it over the years, and you know,
Where was
Yeah.
this 100,000 house that he bought? Oh, that was in Mammoth. AR. AR, is your you got Vaquero in your email? If I'm not mistaken, you do. I was in Mammoth. Actually, he got that house at a deal because that house right there and in that area is close to the school and is close to the hospital. You know, it's like I think it was a doctor's house because the house there's the house, then a street, a side street, then there's Dr. Savoy's house, then there's the hospital. So yeah, I mean, if you have a heart attack, you can just don't call an ambulance. You can just walk to the hospital. Even having a heart attack, unless it's a major heart attack, but my company's offered training for doing recruiting from home. Recruiting what? Save 40 a month and save a ton in interest. Yeah. Well, I don't need to buy into, like I said, I don't need to buy no burners anyway. I hadn't bought since I burned the lawnmower to the ground, the riding mower. When the last crawfish ball we did, burnt the lawnmower to the ground. The hose had a pinhole in it. I was live too. I wasn't live on mine. They had a pinhole in the hose right near the burner. The flame that comes out, and it caught and it zipped up that hose. I mean, 100 miles an hour, and it melted the end of it, and it popped out. Man, that I had a 10-foot flamethrower. That butane bottle was a 10-foot flamethrower. Good thing it was pointed toward that lawnmower and not toward my house, because that side of my house would have burnt. Oh, truck drivers.
Yeah. I got that the most stainless steel braided hoses, got the rubber under it, I guess. That helps at least prevents a little bit of puncturing holes in them and stuff,
Right. And that was one of my daily drivers, so to speak, that burner.
Yeah.
That was one of my daily drivers. And I don't know why it just did it, I mean, they go bad, and that's how you find out they go bad.
Oh yeah. Anything weathers, what I'm saying, it don't matter. It kind of like a tire dry rots over 4 or 5 years. Same thing happens with rubber hoses.
Yeah.
You don't
But
really
then
know.
that never stayed outside, even in the shed. It stayed in the house in my
it don't matter.
bedroom.
It's
it don't matter. But
yeah.
But it had a long life to it because of the fact that I had kept it in my house.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I remember we used to fish with those artificial worms, those plastic worms, and you put them in your tackle box, and then you come back a year or two later and they'd be melted into the tackle box. You ever, what I'm talking about? Them plastics?
Yeah, they look like a skirt on a spinnerbait, the rubber skirt, or worms, rubber worms. Plastic, but anyway, they melt.
They just melt, for no reason. They're always kept inside usually.
Most tackle boxes, people keep them in their garage where, folk, got a garage door or something, but usually that's not climate controlled.
No.
My tackle boxes used to stay in my in my house.
Yeah, mine too, because a lot of times I didn't have a garage, I do now, but I didn't back in them days. I don't even have a tackle box anymore. That's how often I go fishing. I love to fish.
Me too.
One of them things I love to do but never do. I went with my youngest son. He bought that pontoon boat, and we went speckled trout fishing back in November. But it was so long trying to get into cool weather. Man, we had a warm November, and those speckled trout just hadn't come up in the bayous yet. I think we caught 1 or 2 that entire day, and they were undersized. They raised our limit.
I'll be right back. I gotta get a cup of coffee.
Okay.
Keep talking. I can hear you. Oh,
Yeah, I was just saying it was a slow year getting started for speckled trout. We always start fishing for them like the end of November and all of December and parts of January while they're up in these bayous, but just a crappy year for it. I use gummy worms for fishing. I hear you. You getting around any better? I see you, or you got your walker with you. I didn't. Okay, I didn't notice when you got it. Yeah, I see it. My back don't get no better. I'll be doing the same thing here. I see an ice machine back there in the background. Guess that's what that is. Or an ice bin. Boo likes that coffee. I can't drink coffee at night. I drink 3 cups every morning, then I'm done. I'll switch over to beer like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. I'll drink a few of them throughout the evening.
I used to do that with beer, but I lost the taste of it. Wait,
Yeah.
where you see something? You said, you're looking at Frosty's.
Yeah, is that an ice bin or ice machine or what is it?
That's what he's working on. A ice maker or
Ice
ice holder.
Well, he's trying to make
Like at a store.
Yeah.
He's
Like
trying
you
to
got
make
the bagged ice. Yeah.
he's trying to make it make some ice, but he doesn't know a goddamn thing about ice. That's why the man lives in California.
Yeah,
If he knew about ice, he'd live in
yeah.
Antarctica.
He works on fake snow makers and all that stuff for Hollywood. He's right around the corner. He's right in Hollywood, like on the south side.
Talk about fake snowmaker. He is a fake snowmaker. He's a fake Frosty too. I never saw him this Christmas.
Well, fake, not really fake snow. It makes snow, like movie sets and stuff. Snow machines. It's snow, but it's handmade snow. It's not Mother Nature snow. It's real ice.
I heard Frosty's a bad ice man. I heard he's the type of guy that when he walks through the neighborhood, if he sees a snowman and there's a carrot in the nose, he takes the carrot.
Ice man, got the coolest ice.
I got a new little.
He steals the carrots and eats them.
I got a little countertop ice machine came in today from Vivor, still in the box, sitting right outside this wall here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've already done 4. Let's say 1, 2. Between Derek, I've already done 3 ice machine reviews in the last 3 years. Them little nugget machines just don't hold up. We done went through 3 of them. I did a video for a company, and 6 months later, it started squealing and making all this noise, and we cleaned it every week.
Fucking going bald.
And I'm like, what the hell, So I contacted them. They sent me another one. It did the same thing. After about 6 months, it went to making all this awful noise. And we was buying regular ice machine, to clean it, to run through it and clean it and everything once a week religiously. Finally, they're both sitting right out here in the hallway. I got this one in the day, and she goes, we need to do something with them. I was going to hang on to them because the compressors and all that's good in them and see if maybe I get one to go on. But if they're going to go out every 6 months, I don't want to fool with it. So Vivor sent me this one, but it's not a nugget ice maker. It's going to make little cubes. And
I have no idea what kind of ice making machine I have.
What's up, Ken?
Well, Vivor sent me one
it's
about
old ass one. This thing's old as hell, man. It was my grandmother's, but this thing will make a cooler ice in a matter of a few hours.
Yeah, this one. I got a video on the Smoky Ribs channel where I installed it. It's over at Derek's, and it's there permanently. We had to run water to it from underneath his faucet. Had to drill a hole out the wall to run the drain line to, and that thing is still working. I mean, it dumps ice and has for over 3 years now, no problems. And that's Vevor brand. I said, well, heck, y'all send me that one. Maybe I'll have better luck than I have with them nugget machines. Them things just don't hold up, you know. Not with me, they haven't. We do have a lot of minerals in our water, but that's the whole reason you clean them once a week, to keep all that cut down, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Time will
Yeah.
see. Time will tell.
I seen Scott said where if a house is under 100,000, the air is usually poor. No, that might be for y'all people up north, but not here. $100,000 house is a nice house. Such cheap down here. Yeah, when my
it's a
dad
lot
was a
cheaper.
home builder, we got 85,000 for a house. Now this was a big house. This house was 48 foot wide, and it was 100 foot long, 98 foot long. That was a huge house. We got 85 for that house. That was in 1977. Cost, I think it was 18,000 to build it. But when you're a home builder and build your own house, it don't cost you nothing but the materials. Now that's not including furniture, refrigerator, and all that. That's just the house.
Yeah. Yep. Of course, the land comes with it too. How much land you talking about?
I'd have to say in majority of
Acre and a half.
I'd have to say in the majority of the United
Good.
States, a house that's under 100,000, you're in a rougher neighborhood. I'd say that'd be the large majority of the United States.
Yeah.
You know, the average household, the average house right now in the United States has an average sale price of like, I'm guessing it's between 465 and 485, or 425 and 485.
That would be a mansion down here. That would be a mansion down
That's
here.
middle of the road. That's middle of the road right now. That's what they consider the median house value.
Yeah. If you
Yeah,
buy a
that's
house
up
down
north.
here,
Say roughly 450,000.
if you buy a house down here for 300,000, let's say, that's a hell of a house down here.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he's in like, I mean, especially like
Kent?
Mississippi. All that stuff's more expensive than over here because they got casinos over there, and you know the wages. The people make good money in South Mississippi. You get to middle of Mississippi, that's where you can get your price of houses go down. But you on the coast, because it's a tourism and it's the coast of Mississippi, and then
Plus,
you around
got-
Gulf Shores, Alabama, man, yeah, man, hey, you'll pay $500,000 for a piece of sand.
Plus, you got the
You
state's
know what I mean?
largest, you got the state's largest employer in Pascagoula, Ingalls Shipbuilding, Naval Shipyard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's, you know, plus all the other industry, the oil refineries, chemical plants. I mean, there's a lot of money on this coast.
Yeah. But over here in my town, man, I'm trying to think. They got one out of town, and that's a big old house out of town. There's an airport there. There's a crop duster pilot that owns that, and he small planes land there. His buddies, they fly in. He owns a couple of planes. There's a hangar there. You know, no telling what they bring in sometimes. I have no idea about that.
I have not been down to my buddy's house yet. My buddy moved a few years back that used to live up in this area. And he lives in, is it Mandeville?
What's up, Kent?
Mandeville?
Mandeville.
Yeah, that's on the North Shore of Lake Pontchartrain.
He's
North of New Orleans.
He's a technician just like me, and other than not having basements on homes and some other stuff, he said you get a little bit more for your money there than say back here around Michigan. But he said that area of Louisiana is like here. He said you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars for a nice house there. I think he paid
Like, that's
you.
on the North Shore of Lake Pontchartrain. You get down to New Orleans, you cross the causeway right there.
I think he paid
Houses go up.
290,000. I think he paid 290 some thousand for his house like 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Okay. Big house?
1,900 square foot.
That's not a big house. I mean, that's not a very big house. That's 2,000 square feet. You know.
Yeah, it's all right. It's pretty good size, but it ain't huge, huh? Good night.
Your average 2,000 square foot house here in Michigan goes
Yeah.
for
Well, mine's 1,000. So
370,000 to
1,000.
450,000.
That's a nice.
Yeah.
That's a nice big. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, more likely. And I don't know if they counting the garage, a built-in at garage on the house or not. But the moose was happening. But yeah, that's a more expensive area. Mandeville, that's money over there too.
Yep.
See
Sure
what's
enough.
happening here in Michigan, even our cheap areas have become a lot more expensive. Areas where you used to be able to go buy a house for $35,000 7-8 years ago, those are now $160,000. I mean, you can still go buy it. You can go buy an $8,000 house in certain spots in Detroit.
I'll tell you what's
You're
weird.
just buying property. You're not
I'm-
buying a house. The house ain't worth nothing. You're
I'm
buying vacant land.
66. I'm 66 years old, and I can remember back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and I can remember back when you could buy a brand new brick home, like in Pascagoula, where I was raised, for around $35,000-$40,000, like in a subdivision. And now you can't even buy a car for 30 or 40,000. I mean,
no, crazy.
hardly anything, that's worth a darn.
It's because so many people are making money.
Yeah, and houses are just ridiculous, And I just don't think
I
wages-
honestly say that is due to your mid 30s, late 30s
yeah,
to early 50s generation. That's where mom and dad or husband and wife both had very good paying jobs. They both work. A lot of them don't have it.
Well,
a lot of them never have
granted-
kids, and money doesn't matter. So inflation doesn't matter. I
Yeah.
live in a neighborhood like that. They don't give a shit about that stuff here.
But,
New TVs come out, they throw old ones away. I get TVs free all day long.
of course, wages went up over the years. You know what I'm saying? Like my dad worked at the shipyard in the early to mid 60s, and he eventually went into his own business. But he was only making $3.50 an hour as a mold lossman, first class. That was top money. Now out there at the same shipyard, they're making $30 an hour plus. If you're a contractor, you're doing even better, $38, $40 an hour. It just depends. But
Wages in a lot of fields have gone up a lot.
yeah, especially blue collar stuff, man. It's having to, get anybody interested in it. Starting to turn around, I think.
I said my buddy that was a technician when he moved down to Louisiana. I forgot what took him. I know it took him down there. I can't remember the name of the company his wife works for. It was
Yeah.
a move. It was his company's what the company his wife worked for. She was being transferred, and she had a very good job. And he figured, well, hell, I could go be a mechanic anywhere.
Yeah.
And he ended up landing a job where he said it's comparable to what he had here. So he didn't take any substantial pay cut. Everybody said, "Oh, you'll make half of what you made in Michigan down in Louisiana." He said, "That's bullshit. I'm making just as much."
Yeah.
He said the area he lives in is very similar to where he lived in Michigan, like the surrounding area.
Right.
So
I
it's not
know.
a big area.
My youngest son, he worked up there in Philadelphia for a couple of years and come back down here, and he's got a girl with him. I don't ever think they even got engaged, but they're living together, bought that house together, and her parents were down a couple of weeks ago from Philadelphia, and now he does own property down in Florida, like around Orlando. One of his other daughters is like living in it or whatever, but he said he was interested in doing something when he retired right here in Mississippi because he was comparing prices compared to up there. He's like, holy cow, what a difference, looking at house prices, which to me it's high down here, but to him is like, that ain't nothing,
Oh, it is. I've been down south. The majority, a lot of your southern states, like Florida, depends on where you're at. Florida,
Yeah,
the
it
prices, do prices surprise me or shock me in Florida? It all depends where you're at. Alabama, you can still get a lot for your money. Tennessee, you can get a lot for your money compared to Michigan.
Oh yeah, big
Georgia, you
time.
get a lot for your money. The Carolinas, a lot for your money.
Right.
Texas, everywhere. You're right. All of the down south. If
Yeah.
you compare dollars to dollars, if I sold my house here and bought spent the exact dollar amount of my house that I sold my house for here, down somewhere in a nice area of Texas, I would probably have a house that was around 5,000 or so square foot.
Yeah. Right.
No basement, but I'd have a good sized pad.
Oh yeah, big time.
Family lives in San Antonio, Texas, or outside San Antonio, and they have a gorgeous home. And I think they said they paid like $380 for it, and that was 2 years ago. And their house is like 4,400 square foot. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous home.
Yeah.
5 bedrooms, 4 full baths.
Wow. This house I'm in, it's a little bitty house. This thing was
Hello,
built
gentlemen.
in the 60s.
Sorry about that.
It's just me and my wife, and that's all we need. I
I
do
was
have
just
a
me and my
garage.
wife. I had 10,000 square foot, suit me just fine. I have 9,000. She gets 1,000.
Yeah. I'm not even sure what this one is. It's probably somewhere around 1,400 if I had to guess. 14 to 1,500.
The house I live in is 2,000. I mean, but it's 4 bedrooms, so it's not that
Yeah.
big.
This is technically a 1, 2, 3 bedroom, 1 bath. It does have a garage, and that was the one thing I wanted when we moved here, you know, was it had to have a garage. I wish it had a double garage, but it don't. Big enough, I guess, for all my junk. What are you doing, Boo? You making some funny faces.
I'm biting inside of my damn lip.
What you doing that for?
He's hungry.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
There.
Where's oh, here we go.
We're getting a tour. Frosty's giving us a tour or something. Oh, ice machines.
Oh yeah, the warehouse.
Okay.
I think what they've done is
Let me make him
they took Noah's Ark and they tipped it over on its top, set it on these brick walls here, and they done made this structure. The roof is got multiple angles.
Is that your place?
Well, not mine. Belongs to somebody.
Okay.
It is big.
Yeah, it is. Roomy. Big warehouse.
I get a big Quonset hut building. Hollywood was full of them things at one
That
time.
it was. That
A
it
lot of
was.
sets, movie sets, and all that. You'd have like 3 movie sets in one of them things, but you know, a little bit bigger than that. You'd have 3 movie sets in them.
Oh, you could put 3 sound stages in here before they did all those offices up front.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well,
Make one heck of a garage.
Well, I've seen this place as a grow. I've seen it as a body shop. I've seen it as a battery rebuilders. There's been a bunch of different things since I've been here.
at times full wave they do. I'm gonna show a house here. I'm gonna exit you on that because it's gonna come up here in a minute. Let's see, present. I want to show y'all a house that's house and land, about 90,000, 100,000. Let me see. I shouldn't have said that because I want to see what y'all would say about it. Let's see if I can make that full screen layout. Take a minute to pop up. Okay, it's up there.
That
What y'all think that house is worth? Now that's out in the country.
How much acres?
That right there, if it has how many? If it was say on
Just,
if it was on
just say 2 acres of land.
2 acres of land with the house of that size on it,
That's
that
probably
house
about 200.
easily 450,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say around here about 250,000 for that house.
Next door to that church.
maybe
That's
300.
Well,
cheap.
next door to a church, you just lost 300,000.
Yeah,
We're back down to 150
that's
now.
worth $50,000 now.
People here in Michigan don't want no damn church next to them.
You can pick that up, that house, the way it sits on that piece of land there. That's just a little over an acre. You can pick that up for 90, 100,000.
Oh shit.
It's,
Yeah, but
it's
is it prone?
commercial. It might somebody will pay 150 because it's commercial. But since it's so close to church, you know, you probably have some kind of restrictions like no
Well,
alcohol, no store, you know,
where
for
is it?
alcohol or whatever.
Where is it in accordance
is
with
in
the water
between.
line?
Is that
What
a
about-
house pool or is that a duplex?
Wait, too many at one time. Water what?
Is that a
What?
house or duplex? That looks like it's two fucking family homes.
No,
it's just a
this is
double
just
door.
a regular three bedroom. Yeah, the
Okay, now
garage
I
is
see the
on the
garage. Now I
left
see the
side.
garage.
All them holes right here. Right. I can't. That's the closest I can get it. Okay,
Oh,
all of
God,
that
yeah.
house right there is garage and shop in the back.
It's only got one driveway, so I don't think it's a duplex.
Yeah, I see it now. I can see it better now.
No, it's just a one family home. You know,
Yeah.
I
How
mean,
high-
it's 3 bedroom, 2 bath.
How
You see
high-
what it ass
How
into the
much?
truck
How much?
sticking
How
out?
much? How much that would sell for in my area would very much matter on where the actual land was.
Oh,
And I'm
probably
also gonna tell you- I'm also
800,000.
going to tell you another thing. There's no comparison to. I cannot give you a price comparison on this because I can tell you right now, there's no way that house is just sitting on a basement, and not having a basement here in Michigan is sort of like being a boy and not having a toy. You know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
they don't.
In
build
Michigan,
basements,
you got a house without a basement. You lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. You may never even sell that pile of shit.
They don't have basements down here,
Yeah, in Michigan, you don't have a house unless you got a basement.
right?
Yeah, where?
Right.
How
No,
high above
if
sea
you have a
level
crawl
is that
space-
house, dude?
If you have a crawl space for some reason, you're better off in Michigan than if it's on a slab or a really shallow crawl.
Right.
Like people like dream, like, oh, I can always lift it a little bit.
When it
That
floods, is
house
that
is
house
sitting on a
underwater?
slab like that. That's it. There's no
Yeah.
under that house. That house sitting on a concrete slab.
I'm saying here in Michigan,
So in the
Michigan,
wintertime, you don't have to worry about turning your water off and all that crap and letting your water run. You just
we don't worry
normal,
about
like
that in Michigan
summertime,
anyway.
wintertime.
Right. What
Huh?
about flood water though? Is that house below sea level?
Probably. The whole south
No,
is below sea level.
that's not
why
in the
it's so
flood
damn
zone. That house is not in the flood zone. When
Take
the
a
flood
picture
of
of that. We'll see that in the
2016,
news
that
next
house
year.
was. There's no houses in that area that flood.
Well, after Katrina hit my area over here, they had to go back and rezone a lot of that land as flood because stuff flooded that they didn't think could. You know, that's how high that water got.
That happens here in Michigan, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking,
Title search.
like, I am being honest though. Here in Michigan,
Mhm.
that house, the value of that house would be. That's hard for me to give you a solid answer on because of all the variables. The fact it doesn't have a basement would hurt you very badly unless you're right on the shoreline of a big lake. A lot of those homes do not have basements. It'd be like, say you're right on Lake Michigan.
Yeah, I don't know how
The house
far.
would go for the house's price would skyrocket if it was on Lake Erie or Lake Michigan shoreline. If that house is in a lower end part of the city, it wouldn't be worth nothing because there's no basement.
Right. I don't
Most
know
people would
how.
know.
I don't know how far up north they start putting basements in. First time I ever seen a basement in my life was after Katrina. I got displaced to Illinois, Belleville, Illinois.
I
and
don't know
all
where
the
they
homes-
start putting basements in either, but I'm gonna have to say probably northern Kentucky, northern Kentucky to mid Tennessee or mid Ohio.
I know all the
um,
Midwest has them.
It's very, 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 very rare. It's very rare here to come across a house that's on a slab.
Yeah.
That's real rare. A slab.
That's
a slab.
all they do down here because
Most
we're
of
at
the time they're
sea
on.
level.
If they don't have a basement, they're going to be on what they call a crawl space. 99.9% of the time.
Yeah.
They said depending on
That
location-
house right there,
I guess that's with everything. House prices.
that's the
location,
house that
location,
my
location.
buddy bought for $100,000.
How much?
How big is it?
This is the house. This is the house my buddy bought for $100,000.
Nice.
When was that he bought it for 100,000?
What?
When did he buy it for 100,000?
When did he buy it for 100,000?
Yeah.
A couple months ago.
Okay, so recent. I'm taking that's probably around what 1,100 square foot ranch.
Yeah, a couple months ago. Yeah, that was almost like yesterday.
Yeah, how big of a house is it? Like 1,200 square foot?
Oh, I think it's a little bit bigger than that. It's 4-bedroom, got a mother-in-law apartment inside of it. Here's Dr. Savoy's house right here on the left. And here's you got a car garage here in the back under, and then that goes on, and then there's the main part. Let's see, we got the way to right. Let's see. Come on, get over here. Right here, I think. Yeah, right here's the property line.
Oh, your computer is lagging.
I'm live. It's just too slow right here. Yeah, it is. I'm gonna stop sharing it. Get out of that. It's taking up RAM. Too much. Okay, now we're back normal. I hope. David Carlisle say you got a basement with 600 square foot apartment in it. There you go.
The only home I know of.
Hey, nothing edited. How you doing, champ?
The only house I know of that's got a basement that was built into it, and it's a very, very, very old home. It's right on the beachfront, believe it or not, is Jefferson Davis home.
Jefferson's house, yeah.
And that I
didn't know it had a basement.
Yeah, they
I didn't know it had a basement.
When I was in elementary school, they would do field trips, and they would bus all of us kids over there, and we'd spend all day at that place. It's a plantation back in the Civil War, and that house always survives these hurricanes. Nothing else does.
It survived Camille. It survived Katrina.
Yep.
Yeah. There wasn't much on that beach that survived, but that
it don't go unscathed. They do have to go in there and do a lot of repairs, but it's still standing. That's back when they knew how to build stuff. You know what they built it out of? Freaking trees. I meant huge. But it actually has a basement, and it's right on the freaking beach. I mean, our water table. It is on a big old hill, though, so I guess that's how they were able to do it. Filled all that in or whatever to where the water table wouldn't affect it.
Well, Scott Keller, those whatever you talking about, poverty rates and all that, biggest factor in property values, that ain't got nothing to do with what I've been showing over here.
What you've been showing looks pretty typical of what we got around here. A lot of homes, but we do got some really expensive, fancy homes. It just depends on what neighborhood you go into, you know.
Well, that's how it is where I live.
Sure, that's everywhere, I would think, you know.
I mean, $1 million home or a $500,000 home. Here, I forget how much Paul sold his house for, but he had 45 acres of land that went with it. That was a doctor's house, and that was a half a mansion. So, and I don't know how much they got for it.
I'll share a screen with a house that's about 6 miles away from me for sale. This is actually somebody I know is selling this house. So that's how I know I can find their address quick. Let's see.
Oh, goodness.
Present.
Six what? Near me or near Russ?
It's about 6 miles from me.
Oh, from you?
Yeah, I shared screen.
Garrett, I'll bring it up when it pops in the basement.
I didn't share it yet.
No.
That there is $3.5 million home.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
no.
is a very, very nice home. Wow.
Well, dude, it's 600 square foot.
How many?
7,600 square foot.
Okay.
How many garages? I see 3 garages over there. Yeah,
Yeah.
Man, I would have to have 10 children and grandchildren to even think about wanting to buy a house like that. That's wanting to live with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, that's a lot of
And $10 million too.
Oh, I'm just saying if I could afford something like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Now this is a more typical.
That's 2-story too. Holy crap!
Well, this would be a typical. This would be a home like that's in my neighborhood right here.
Yeah.
Now let me figure this out again.
A home like that with just say 5 acres of land down here, which I'm not seeing all of that house neither, but a house like that with just say 5 acres, that would probably go for $1 million. Yeah.
Oh, 5 acres house like that probably go for about 10 million here. You have 5 acres, that's probably on a lot that barely holds a home.
Yeah, but the acreage is expensive where y'all at. Down here, man, my dad, now, this is a long time ago, my dad used to pay $3,000 an acre.
The property in the rural areas of Michigan has gone up so much in the last few years, it's not funny. Everything keeps going north. Everything keeps going north.
Property is expensive. Down here, man, I can still get land down here for $800 an acre. It's all wooded though.
You take Detroit as the starting point. Further north you go, the more expensive it's going to get. I will retract a little bit when we get up towards Flint, Michigan. It goes down in price, but I'm just saying it's like where I live now. 15 years ago was cheap. You could buy a nice house for $130,000. 15 years ago, you can't touch a garage for $130,000 now. You can't get a piece of property with a shed on it for $130,000 around it. You can't even get a piece of property for $130,000 around it.
Hey,
I just showed y'all a couple of houses for $100,000.
Show that share screen. Show the share screen. This is a house that's. I was looking at my sub. I don't know why nobody's got a house for sale right now close to me.
My dad was sitting on a gold mine at one point, but he just didn't.
5 streets away from me. That's for sale.
He didn't realize it.
That's 5 streets away from me, and that's similar to the style of my neighborhood. That give examples of what homes like right where I live go for. Which honestly, that is much more than it was, say, 2.5 years ago.
Now, for a house like that, that would be would be around 300 to 400,000, maybe 500,000, but in a golf course neighborhood.
But okay, now, Boo, I'm not going to bullshit you either. That is today's price at $589,900 for that house.
I believe it.
I bet you that house was at least $120,000 cheaper 2 years ago. At least, because my own home will sell for $500,000, and I'm gonna tell you right now, this is how honest I'll be about shit. I wouldn't pay $600,000 for the house we're looking at right now on screen, and I wouldn't pay $500,000 for the pile of shit I live in. So, I'm just saying, I'd never pay $500,000 for my house. I never did pay $500,000 for my house. I didn't pay $250,000 for my house. I'd never paid $500,000
for a house. That's ridiculous.
And what brought the prices up, even with interest rates the way they are today, homes like this don't sit on the market for, on average, any more than about 17 days. So anybody says the real estate market's going to shit, that might be where you're at, where I'm at. Houses sell like this. And everybody says, well, how? Interest rates are so high. I'll tell you how. Lack of supply. There's a bigger demand than there is supply. Young couples meet up, they get married, they want houses, blah, blah, blah. People move in to work for a certain company or somewhere around here. They want a house, they don't want to rent, whatever. These houses sell. It don't matter if the interest rate's 3% or 6% or 7%. They don't give a shit. They don't care if it's 350 or 650. For some odd reason, these things just keep selling and selling and selling with nothing slowing it down. I'm actually surprised they're still selling as good as they are. I really figured it'd slow down by now, but it hasn't at all. I mean, home goes up for sale on my street. It's sold within, I think if it's over 10 days, that'd be a long time.
Now, is that a brand new home, or is that a house somebody's selling?
What, this one here?
Yeah.
I'd say it's a house that somebody's selling.
Okay.
Don't
So,
look
you know,
like-
somebody lived in it already and they sold it to, you know, I mean, they selling it
Yeah.
and they're
The
going to
reason I
get a
say
bigger
that,
house
by the way,
later on.
the reason I say it's already got a nice lawn, but it doesn't have any real landscaping, does it? It don't matter. I mean, I'm saying they're going. They say house prices they're right now. They're very unique. Areas I never thought would be expensive are becoming expensive. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense. That's what I was
There
going
was
to say earlier.
There was areas that I always thought, no matter what, you'll always be able to go buy a cheap trailer down there, or a cheap beat up ranch home, or a cheap old, brick home, what they call Cape Cod style home, whatever. That just needs some tender love and care. But you would always be able to go to this particular area or that particular area. Always be able to get something reasonably priced. It's not the best neighborhood. It's not the best neighborhood, but it's not somewhere I'd be scared to live. I mean, there'd be better places to bring up your kids, possibly. But you should always know that you had these areas, these cities, that they had reasonably priced homes, and you get a good deal, and not be in the total shithole. You're in a decent area, and those have now become expensive. It's just like I cannot believe the price of certain homes, like what they were, say, 5 years ago versus what that neighborhood is now selling for. It's like, you got to be kidding me. Anybody buying those homes right now is a fucking fool. Like, I had a friend that is just, he's so mad. He sold his house for $164,000. 1,050 square foot brick ranch, 3-bedroom, 1 bath, little kitchen, little dining area that hooked to the living area. But anyway, he sold it for $170,000-ish or whatever. Do you know, 18 months later, the homes in his neighborhood, same homes, people are paying over $300 freaking grand for.
Ooh.
$300 grand for a little freaking ranch on a basement. Old, 50s built. All because they did some redevelopment, some changes to the downtown, and now it's like the hip area downtown. I gotta be honest, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it because Boo's not like some huge YouTuber, so I'm not putting you down though, Boo. But it's kind of like this trans happy community all of a sudden. And because of that, the prices just went through the freaking roof. Now, what surrounds that? We have this transitional community, and right next to it now we have the lesbian community, and on the other side of it, we have the gay community, the male community.
That'd be enough to.
And all three of these little communities have, very clean, very nice. They've really cleaned up the city. They've really done a great job cleaning up the city. They've really done a very good job with it.
I'll pull in there.
But the prices have absolutely skyrocketed. My neighbor said to me one day, we saw this weird looking dude. It was nice out a couple weeks ago. I was out cleaning up. You got a couple dogs and you keep getting snow. You can't be out there cleaning up after them every day. You miss shit. Bottom line, I was out there cleaning up dog shit, and I'm shooting the shit with the neighbor through the fence. He doing the same thing as I was, and we saw this. I don't know, this walking down the sidewalk. And he says to me, "What in the hell is that?" I said, "I don't know, but I hope they're looking to buy a house." And he said, "Why the hell would you ever say that?" I said, "Do you know how expensive this place has become? If you have that shit walking, that's called shit. If you have that walking up and down your streets all day long and bringing in more happiness like that, these homes will be $1 million. I'm up for it, man."
Yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff like the mechanics, they can't say tranny no more.
Yeah, well, I'll say
electronic guys, they can't say tranny no more for a transistor. I still call them trannies,
Yeah, I'm gonna call it whatever I want to.
You're the last.
Yeah, a transmission, a tranny, transmission.
We've
Yeah.
always called him
Yeah,
tranny.
but man, there's a oh, you can't say that no more. What? Bull butter.
Yeah. No, what I was trying to say earlier was my dad, when he got out of the Navy, he's from Hurley, Mississippi, and he bought a bunch of land when he first came out of the Navy at 50 cents an acre. Now, if he would have knew what was going to happen eventually with all that land in there, he would have waited and waited and waited before he sold it, because that stuff's going for like over 15,000 an acre now.
Oh yeah,
you know?
as I said, if anybody would have known.
Yeah,
Everybody.
he
All
sold
the
it for profit, but boy, he could have racked up, turned 50 cents into 15,000. That's pretty good return on your money right there, you know. Which
They got a
that's
guy
what land went
that
for back then.
they got a guy that lived in Pascagoula. He lived by Fisherman's Corner. His name was Charlie Brown. I don't know if you're familiar with him or not.
Yeah, I know Charlie
We
Brown.
built
He's
him
got
a house.
Sister named Lucy and a brother named Linus.
Probably.
Charlie Brown.
Probably. Anyway, we built him a house in Hurley. His he had owned some property over there. We built him a nice big old home. Had a big, when you walked in the great room, man, it went up all the way up. It went up like 16 foot or whatever, and all, and it didn't cost him. He paid for all the materials. He didn't finance anything, and I think and what was his name that the guy I was working for? He was a home builder. He built a lot of houses. He was brought up with Charlie Brown. He owned his house down there by the bait shop. Well, we call them bait shops, but the bar right on the where Bayou Compass comes starts off real big. You know, that first bar right there to the, I say, west of Charles English's house. Anyway.
Porn upon.
Yeah. I think he charged him $8,000 to build that house. 8 or 9,000, you know, to frame it up, get it blacked in. You know, felt windows, doors, and felt on the roof. You know, and that's it. And then your roofer comes in, and then your drywallers and all that. He like I said, he contracted that house himself. He didn't have a builder do it. He was the builder himself. And I want to say he had right around 48,000 in that house.
Yeah.
Total. You know, that's no furniture, nothing like that, you know, but that's
right.
And no rugs, carpet or nothing. You know, so that's just like a base price home, and you put what tile you want in it. Now that might have included the tile, but
but you see, you look
and
back.
the dog named Snoopy.
If you look back a couple comments, you'll see what Scott Keller says. If Ford or GM built a new plant in your town, Cajun, and hired 3,000.
I read it, and I did like this with it.
That's true. That would happen.
She stays out.
Yeah.
When
They wouldn't triple, but they'd probably double.
I think
let
they're
me
all,
tell you this: when GM pulled out of Flint, Michigan, 4 or 5, as I say, 3 years later, after GM shut all their plants down in Flint, Michigan, those homes went from, say, a $200,000 home. I'm just going to throw a number up. Oh, you get a great deal on this tax sale, $8,900 because we'll pay tax on it 5 years.
20,000.
The neighborhood just shit. It shit the bed. It's
What
still
plan?
to this day, Flint, Michigan is one of the cheapest real estate markets in the state of Michigan.
Is that Hyundai that's building in Louisiana? Somebody's getting ready to build in Louisiana.
I forgot who said they're coming, Louisiana. Is
It's
it
due
Hyundai?
to all these.
Hyundai's supposed to come in. Kia's supposed to come in. Mercedes is supposed to bring another plant to us.
Yeah, we already got a Toyota.
Audi, Volkswagen's supposed to add some more plants here. Toyota and Honda are both planning on putting more stuff here in the United States.
Yeah.
It's not just because of Trump's tariffs. Some of the stuff that it may be because of a new president's tariffs. I'm just saying things that I know that have been in the works where they've been. Nissan is a big developer in the South when it comes to automotive right now. I don't know where they're going with the merger they're going through, so I don't know what's going to happen with that. I just know Nissan owns a lot of property in the South. They own a lot of property in Tennessee, Mississippi.
Yeah, Kentucky.
I don't know if they own. I don't know if they own anything in Louisiana. I do know Mississippi, Kentucky, Mississippi, Missouri, Tennessee,
North Mississippi.
Yeah.
There's some kind of Nissan. Wait, Toyota, Nissan crankshaft.
That
plant.
whole little particular area of our country is a very interesting thing to me. That whole little, like, you took a circle on me. If I could,
Yeah, Alabama.
right, like from like Alabama back up to parts of Georgia into North Carolina, South Carolina, back up around Tennessee, back into Missouri to a certain point, back through, come back down to Louisiana and all. I mean, it's like, seems like so much is going on right there. And you know what I think it all has to do? It's all tax issues.
Yeah.
The people are coming because the cost of living is reasonable and the jobs are becoming readily available. Tennessee is growing like no other because of just all the industry that they brought into their state. How they've done it, they gave them tax abatements, tax breaks. There's no there's no state income tax in Tennessee. Was it Missouri or is it Mississippi that just dropped state income tax?
Mississippi just dropped it.
That's what I'm trying to say. I think that's the trend.
phased out.
But I think that's going to be the trend in that little region of the country. I think you're going to see, and everybody's going to be fighting for this industry and the workforce.
Our economy here in Mississippi, according to our governor, when he was being interviewed about that tax, doing away with the state income tax, he was talking about we were like 4th in the country as far as the economy goes. We rank like one of the 4th best out of all these 50 states, which is a far cry from what it used to be, So
Donaldsonville, hell, that's a
steel plant.
Yeah, they ain't. That's where the Sunshine Bridge is across the Mississippi River. So they got the river as a means of egress and ingress.
Well, Birmingham,
barge loads of ore coming in.
Birmingham used to be a big steel city.
Yeah, well, David Carlisle's right there.
Yeah.
In Birmingham, well, on the outskirts.
I remember first time I went through Birmingham, we were going to Chattanooga, Tennessee, to Rock City and Lookout Mountain. It was my first time ever going through Birmingham, getting real hilly, steel mills everywhere. This is like in the early 70s. And I guess all that's been closed since then, but it might just reopen. It needs to.
There ain't much around Donaldsonville. In fact, that's where the Bayou Lafourche starts and heads out to the Gulf.
They build cities around these plants, so they open them up. And next thing you know, housing goes in, people start moving. It'll turn something that ain't nothing right now into something big later. Look at
well, I mean, it's known. Donaldsonville is known for Cajun cooking and all that, but it's not a big city, and there ain't much around it. A lot of water around it, Space Ranger, what's up, Tim? Well, you're just catching the last few minutes of the live stream, bud. Donaldsonville, that's a nice area. In fact, I think they had a sugar mill just a little north of Donaldsonville, if I ain't mistaken. They had a couple sugar mills around there. Like on the river, sugar mills are plentiful. All the way from just south of Baton Rouge, like Bruley, White Castle, that area, that's from sugar mills. There's a lot of sugar cane around in those areas. In New Iberia, Louisiana, I had a huge sugar mill, a syrup mill they built over here in Lancashire area. Man, there was a lot of fields around there, and they had a lot of cane, farmers that switched over to sugar cane, and bought new equipment. But I don't know, something went haywire, and they didn't even run a full season. I think the only thing they made was a couple 18-wheeler full of cans of syrup, and that was about it.
Huh.
And they sold that for scrap for 100,000. They had millions and millions and millions go in that. And then they tried to make some kind of other type of plant out of that, with byproduct of cane. And they couldn't. They didn't do it. It was supposed to be some kind of distillery too, and they never could get straight with the state or the parish. And probably alcohol, tobacco, ATF, like you say. But they sold that for scrap, $100,000, and they had millions upon millions invested in that, and they had like state representatives that was, put Louisiana was like, they state representatives. Yeah, man, they, let's do this. Let's do this. We're going to give you all a bunch of money. Yeah, no, it didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't pan out.
Yeah, but give nobody no money.
Yeah, kind of like that happened. Yeah,
You give them tariff.
that I
You put
that
tariff
I
on them. You got to put a tariff on them. Well, you should put a tariff on Johnny Best. Tell him every time you walk in my door, you owe me $1.50.
Yeah, well, they need to charge him $10 every time he walks through the door because he eats that much in a day.
Like I said, okay, well, you figure $10. He probably wears something Chinese, so you could probably add another 20% tariff to him for that.
Fleabag. I hadn't seen that name in a long time, if it's the same one. Just catching the tail end of the stream also. I'd like to see that. They were supposed to have, in North Louisiana, they were supposed to have something come through there. But I think in between, like, I want to say about 30 miles to the west of West Monroe.
What?
I forget what it was. Nissan was supposed to put something there. I think a crankshaft plant.
I'd have to look through my list of notes. I'd have to look through my list of notes, but there's like all kinds of future development plan for the automakers that I would have to say runs all the way from parts of the Midwest all the way down as low as Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And Mississippi and Missouri and Louisiana and Texas. Not too far east, not too far west.
Wait a minute. I just remembered. Taiwan. I forget.
In Dakota, somewhere in South Dakota, that they're planning on building one of the automakers.
A chip company out of Taiwan was going to put a place up in North Louisiana to make chips for cars.
Coming in northern Ohio.
I see chips.
They need to.
Yeah, made in America.
We're too dependent on Taiwan for that stuff, and China and everything else. Need to make them right here.
Taiwan, I don't mind. Taiwan's got good quality, especially in electronic semiconductors.
What I'm getting at is what happened after COVID. All the supply and demand.
Yeah, right.
Couldn't get it.
Yeah,
it needs to be made right here.
Yeah, like Motorola, that was America. And if I ain't mistaken, I think Motorola's still
it's still around.
American, made an American product. Maybe some of I don't know if they sub out some of their semiconductors or not, but man, Motorola, I can give you a good example because I had my radio shop at that time, and Motorola, for what I was paying the price of an amplifier transistor, Toshiba, just say it was $3.50. The same chip that did the same thing, Motorola was like $7, like twice the price. Same quality though, same quality. Toshiba is that was top dog. That was Japanese made.
Yep.
And then Taiwan made them for the Toshiba for quite some time.
Yep.
But Motorola, their products
What do
Man,
they make
they
nowadays?
were built like a tank.
What do they make nowadays? I know they're still around. What do they make now?
Well, they were in the phone business, for a while, and I think Motorola's still doing phones, if I'm not mistaken.
They're probably
They
still
started off doing
uh,
car radios years
yeah,
ago.
like cop cars and stuff, and ambulances and first responders.
I'm not saying they don't do phones, but they ain't making
Music
no money.
music radios. They were doing for
Let me see
Ford,
Motorola.
Chevy. They were
I
and they had
Motorola.
type
I think of radios,
cop cars
like
and stuff.
cop car.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Of.
Oh yeah. They made those too. They sure did. That was one of their main thing. But Motorola, they were the first ones to come into. They brought actually AM radio into cars.
Really? Okay.
And they went to Henry Ford. They got a story on them. Anybody Google, y'all Google it, and it will tell you the same thing that I just did.
Yeah.
The Motorola is still a big phone maker. I wouldn't know because I haven't had anything but an Apple product for phones for a long time. So
Yeah, me too. Since 2004.
it's not because I think Apple kicks ass. It's just I never had a problem with them. They're easy to use. I'm used to it.
Yep.
And it's
Well,
got everything I need on it.
Both of my computers are.
I like I do
Apple
actually like
and,
my Apple products. I do
my
like my
phone-
Apple products, but
My phone can communicate with both my computers, and that's the reason I just stay Apple. I like it.
David, they probably do. They probably do. And all these, I watch videos on these ham fest, ham radio operators. They have swap meets. They call them ham fests, but like if you're looking for computer keyboards, mouse, or whatever, they got a lot of that too, because all that was involved in packet radio. But you could find Motorola, like farmers. They use the same radios as cop cars and stuff. They just on a different frequency, and they use repeaters. A lot. They use repeaters. That's why they can bounce off of it, and you can be 50 miles away. But like for FM, you don't have to use a repeat. If you're on 2 meters, you could talk 20 miles without using a repeater station. Radio to radio. That's simplex. Duplex would be using a repeater. But you can buy radios and like if you own a company and you got 5 vehicles and then you want a radio at your shop, you could buy 5 or 8, that setup from a ham fest and get with your local technician, and he can set you up on a frequency that's empty, and boom, you got your thing. All you need to do is just get your license from the FCC. Most people don't. Farmers don't do that. They just get the radio guy to do all that for them, set it up for them, and that's in the price of the a yearly contract.
I heard they were getting ready to deregulate some of that with the ham radio.
Ham radio, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's going to have to do with license. I hope they don't go. I hope they don't open the bands up and let everybody free band, because that would be just no.
Yeah.
Nobody would like that. You'd have if Donald just say if all ham operators were Republicans and they just lost. If he did that, well, he lost 1 million ham radios votes.
Yeah.
That would hurt him right there. And anything to do with the radio industry, they would be anti-Trump. Yeah. Because you just don't go in there. I mean, ham operators, they kind of like when disaster comes in. All right, ham operators are on the scene first because they live there. All they do is raise their antenna up, start the generator, and they have communications. They first Johnny on the spot because they live in that town.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason I bought that little handset I got is for emergencies.
Yeah,
because we are in Hurricane Alley here.
So just imagine if this ham operators in your town relaying messages for victims, okay, disaster victims, trying to get a hold of their family, just say in California, saying, hey, we all right, we okay, and all that. I mean, ham operators can do that. They still got the old phone patches and all that stuff. Well, if they couldn't do it because you got some idiots clogging up the band, that channel, then it's, a clusterfuck.
I think they're talking about deregulating it somewhat because it really ain't popular no more. I can turn mine on.
It is.
It ain't around here. I promise you. I hardly
Very good
ever
word.
catch a conversation. Hardly ever. Everybody's got cell phones. The only reason I would grab that is if my cell phone quits working. If I lose signal,
Right.
in a situation. But
Well, it's alive and well. It's just you're not on the same frequency.
I'm sure it is. Well, I'm scanning through all kind of frequencies, and I'm also hitting repeaters in my area, but I'm just not picking nothing up. Hardly ever. Every now and then I'll get something. I'll sit there and listen in a little bit, but I don't turn it on hardly ever because it's just like, why turn it on? Ain't nobody gonna be on it.
I got mine here. I made a little
about the masses of people. In comparison to how many people, it's not popular like it used to be at one time. There's still a lot of people into it, but the people that are into it, they're going to respect it anyway, I'm sure,
if they open it, like I say, if they just open up and make it free band, which they're not gonna, because
I think it's the licensing part of it is what they're going to deregulate.
I want to say it's gonna be free.
Yeah.
No charge for licenses.
Maybe
well,
so.
I don't know how they can, and then what they're gonna do with other license, brackets or whatever for like, airplane radios. I mean, everybody's got licenses, and that's how the FCC makes their money is licenses.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Fees there and fines.
I was listening to it and here a while back on a video or whatever. He didn't get into any specifics what the deregulation was going to be, but they are going to deregulate something. That's all I know about it.
Yeah. Ham Radio 2.0. That's a good one to watch. And what's the other guy's name?
This wasn't even on a channel because I'm subscribed to some ham channels already. This was something else, like a news thing I was watching,
Oh, okay.
On a news channel. But anyhow.
Well,
pardon me.
I'm over almost 15 minutes. I'm going to get out of here and get me a little bite to eat. I'm getting hungry. So, Dave, if you want to do your outro, do ours, we're going to jet out of here.
Well, thanks for having me on. And everybody, thanks for supporting the occasion. And until next time, everybody have a good one and a safe one.
Appreciate you coming in, Dave.
Appreciate the invite. Everybody in the chat. I don't know who all you got left, but see y'all later. Enjoyed it, as always.
Appreciate it, Russ. Yeah. Frosty, you there, buddy? Okay, he must be busy doing something. Well, actually, I had him muted. He might already muted himself. Frosty, you there? Okay, must not be. What you got there?
A decade box.
Wait a minute, let me
a decade resistance box.
Oh, is that a kit?
No, it's a decade box.
Oh, yeah, I know. But I thought there were holes where the knobs are. Okay, they were black knobs. Okay.
Here's
yeah, I can see it now. Yeah.
Two probes right here.
Yeah, okay.
Today's the only reason I'm showing it to you. I had the neighbor's car over here. She said she's running hot. I'm not trying to get you to stay on your live, but I was going to tell you real quick why I got it.
Go ahead.
Anyway, it was running hot, and then her boyfriend said, well, let it cool down, see if you can get home, and anyway, she gets home and it was running, it wasn't showing hot at all, and I told her, I said, a car, you know, is going to run hot for a few reasons. I said, either you're out of water, fuel pump, and this car is only like a year and a half old. I said, fuel pump, I've seen impellers completely gone on them and they'll run hot. Radiator stopped up, thermostat sticking in a closed position, certain things like that. I said, but typically they're not going to run hot and then run cold. And the next day it never did heat up. Then it showed, I said, sounds like your engine coolant sensor is acting up. So anyway, I bought that decade box because I was telling him, I said, first unplug it, look at the wiring around there, make sure, you know, and just go ahead and replace that thing. Drain some of your coolant down, unscrew it, screw the new one in. And obviously it worked because I haven't heard her more. She's gone every day. But with that box air, I can mimic that sensor and make sure the wiring part of it's good and the gauge and everything.
Yeah.
You know, you can dial in the resistance for hot or cold. And then if everything else is working, then yeah, it's going to be in that sensor, you know. So I figured.
How much they hit you for that, if you don't mind me asking?
It wasn't much, man. I got it off Amazon. I want to say, shit, $40 maybe, something like that, somewhere in that ballpark. Maybe more. I don't remember.
Not too bad. All right, Frosty, you want to say goodbyes?
Oh, I surely can. I just got back. I didn't know. All right, everybody. If you're one of them drivers out there that drives with the horn, that does not steer, that does not brake, pull over right now and kill yourself. Other than that, I want everyone else to love each other, take care of each other, and be good to each other. Take care now.
All right, everybody. Appreciate all y'all coming in.
Later, guys.
David Carlisle, Scott Keller, Rail, Fleabag, Spate Tim, nothing edited. Y'all know who y'all are, everybody. Appreciate y'all coming in. And y'all know the routine is good being north of the grass. Y'all stay safe. Be that way, stay safe. And as always, love, peace, and crackling grease. Catch y'all later. Aplita.